tight ship tonight.
Hey, he'll start throwing things to get my attention.
Upset by me? No.
I do kind of. But I really only called Heather. I mean, not that it's both H's, but I feel M's. I'll keep Kevin
Yeah,
company.
keep me
Okay.
honest here.
Are you recording? All right, we'll call this meeting of the Port Hood River Commission to order. Are there any modifications to the agenda from staff?
None.
Commission,
Commissioner Shiver, I'd like to go ahead and line item 9, I would like to reference that back after we come out of executive session.
got it.
Detail all our conversations and our directions for staff. If that's okay with everybody.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
We need to open the public hearing on approved budget for fiscal year 23-24. And is there any public comment?
I'm here to speak on something. Yeah, you have written public comment received after we printed the packet in front of you,
Okay.
and Joanne is here to speak. Grab the board. Sorry, Joanne. You go right now. I know you're busy and I'm keeping 5 minutes. I can vote. Want to introduce myself. My name is Joanne Pollock. I've lived in Hood River for next year will be 45 years. And my husband, Rick, is here to support me. I'm a transported New Englander. And I'm here actually about parking. And I will try not to use my Boston accent, so you understand. Let's see, and I left my glasses, so I'm reading my notes. So I retired from Hood River Valley High School. I was the guidance counselor there for 26 years, and prior to that, I taught school in Maine and Connecticut. And I retired in 2012. And the reason I'm here is every year for the last couple of years, I bought my parking pass for $125. So I could use the event site. And of course, we all who have been here a while know the history of how the town's changed and how we've gone from no paid parking to, you know, all kinds of parking. And I've heard that through a rumor, and I'm not sure that the toll booth at the event site will be changing and a toll booth will be put at the Hook. I'm not sure. This is all urban legends. It's what's going around town. So anyway, I'm here to talk about the parking because I grew up in a small town about 20 miles from Boston, similar to Hood River, like 3 streets. And you know, not a lot of people, but the one thing we had in town was a lake. And the lake, and just to give you an idea of where Sharon is, if you've heard of Foxborough, where the Patriots play, we're the town next to it. So you can imagine how things have changed over the years since I left in the 60s. But anyway, we had a lake, and that was where I spent all of my summers growing up with my family. And I recalled, and I had to check with my sister, that my mom every year would go to the city hall and purchase a parking pass. And it was about $8 actually. So it was a resident parking pass. And we would also get some tags for the family that we would wear on our bathing suits or on our persons if we rode our bikes or walked in. And there was a non-resident fee for people that wanted to use the lake. And so I started thinking about that, and I called Karen to find out what was happening. And of course, about 65 years later, they still have a resident and non-resident parking pass situation. It's not $8 anymore, it's $90. And the non-residents are, I have it written down. I have some paperwork that I ran off. Anyway, I'm here because I really feel that there should be a difference between what residents pay to use the river to non-residents. And when I spoke to the person from Sharon, she said, well, you should try calling Natick or I'll throw some other ones, other places. She said, I think the Cape Cod, all the beaches, all the towns along the Cape have resident passes. So I did call, and I spoke to someone and she said, oh, absolutely, we have a resident parking pass for the beach. It's $35. In fact, I wrote some of these down. She said all the beaches, all the towns along the Cape have a resident pass that you can buy and have on your car. And the non-resident passes. So theirs are $35 for a resident pass and $300 for a non-resident. And you could do a day fee for $24. I mean, there's all kinds of different configurations. There's discounts for seniors and so on and so forth. But she said, oh no, we wouldn't charge our local residents the same because they pay taxes. And to you, you know, in the town. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to propose that I know you're busy with tolls and bridges and everything, and this might not happen right away, but I'm here to propose that you think about doing something to help residents out as opposed to non-residents. And I would be very happy to volunteer to do research because this is an issue that's been close to my heart since I was a little girl and rode my bike to the lake and went with my family. And I just feel there should be a difference between what I pay to use the event site and what someone from Portland or Canada or anywhere else comes. I don't know that when I talk to these people, there's such a variation on what they're paying. But anyway, I know you're busy and I just wanted to. It's just yeah, here's my bell. Anyway, that's why I'm here tonight. I don't know if it's ever been proposed or if anyone's ever volunteered to do research, but I know locals my age, I'm gonna close with this. We usually don't come downtown or we can't get access to the river because it's so crowded, or we go in September to May before, you know, you talk to locals, it's like, well, we don't go. So anyway, that's why I'm here. And thank you for my 5 minutes.
Thank you for taking the time. Well, we're still doing public comment. Did you want to add anything or say anything?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm observing her.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Yes.
Always nice to have support.
Yeah. All right, since there are no changes on the consent agenda, we have a motion on that.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented to us tonight.
I'll second.
In favor?
Bye.
I as well. Thank you.
Mhm.
We have a presentation this evening, Kevin, on rate resolution.
Yes, that's page 73. This is just a brief discussion on the rate resolution that has been in front of the commission several times over the last year in various forms. But really following through on the concept of having a universal rate and fee schedule, I think has a lot of advantages to port operations. And so the one thing that has been changed in this since our last discussion was related to the event site. If you recall, in the marina, the boat launch, we were looking at a daily fee that was for longer vessel or vehicles with trailers. And that had the possibility of jeopardizing our recreational immunity protection.
Yeah.
And so that has been changed down to a cap of $15 a day so that we still maintain that torque protection. But everything else in here is the same. The one thing I just want to note that with all of the increases that we've implemented, this will actually give a 1-year reprieve. Because it'll be implemented in June, like for the mortgage rates, those won't be implemented until January of 2025. Because what we're trying to do here is get all of the rates approved one time a year and then implement them 9 months in advance, so we don't end up getting ourselves into
So smart.
jammed up on a timeline. And so
Simplicity.
you kind of have to pick a year that you're gonna do this, or it'll be a little bit of a reprieve. But then we can do this once a year and people have plenty of time to prepare. So I think those are the two main things that I wanted to bring to your attention. And then if you have any questions about any of the individual fees or the concepts here, staff would be more than happy to answer those.
Who caught that maritime thing?
Oh, I don't know. I think it was maybe Genevieve.
All of us are like, wait a minute, recreation.
Well, whoever caught it, good job. That's a good catch.
So that one was on the books, and so we had to reduce it. I think it was a 40% reduction. So that's the only one that you actually see that's a percent change. But so anyway, this will be an action item actually be on the consent calendar on the 20th. So if there's no changes, we'll just run this in the consent agenda for June 20th, and then that'll be a comprehensive rate schedule that we won't have to really look at for another year. So if there's any questions other than that, that's all I have for this item.
Any questions, Chris?
No, I mean, I think it should be, we've gotten a lot of feedback from people about having a local rate versus. And I think it's a really good reminder for people to know, the amount that the port receives from property taxes is almost negligible. And so it's unfortunate that we need to make it universal rate, but because we don't receive property taxes, it's kind of a requirement. So.
Understand.
And we are always looking for ways to charge those who use or those who are out of the area more than you whenever possible. Harder than it sounds, but it is something we talk about and think about all the time.
Well, if you'd like to volunteer to be the committee of one for research.
Appreciate that. Just rolling into your report.
Yes, just a couple of things that I did want to mention that I'm going to be taking some time off June 22nd through the 30th.
Thank you for coming down.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And then just one addition, as far as the commission directives, we're going to start putting the commission directives at the top of the executive ED's report. But
Great idea.
wanted just to note, and this ties into the budget, is that regarding the speed cameras on the bridge, we are working a budget item in the budget resolution tonight to accommodate for that. And that was item C on the commission directive. So that was the only other thing I really wanted to add on that item.
And on that, Kevin, as we talked before, I just want to make sure that whatever we implement into this current bridge is transferable to the new bridge.
Yeah.
Because it makes no sense for us to invest in a technology that is only going to be used for a few years when we can scale it to.
The biggest problem there, though, I think technology probably advances more than 5 years, 7 years. It'll probably be obsolete 7 years, to be very honest with you.
Yeah, true. I mean, but I'm just saying, like, I want to make sure,
Yes,
like,
keep
if
that in
we
the back of
have
your
a
mind. You
system,
bet.
then maybe the software, maybe part of it is scalable to the new
Well,
bridge.
And I think on a larger scale, I would assume that the Port of the River is and will be discussing with. The bi-state group, what existing technologies, properties, etc. can be used on the new bridge that perhaps the Port of the River has expertise in, ownership of, whatever. That we can do, and I assume that's ongoing conversation.
And that'd be even maybe a capital asset that we get reimbursement for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So other than that, unless there's any specific items in the ED report, those were the only two items I wanted to bring to your attention.
And
President.
Commissioner-elect Torbiker is here.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
next day.
Congratulations.
I just like to speak in regard to the situation with the individuals parking illegally at the hook, and I want to reiterate that I think I speak for the whole board that you have full power to eliminate that and address those issues of people parking illegally and not taking it serious. And so the only way you're gonna stop that is stop it right, draw a line, you're not doing this. And if we have to have legal counsel come in at our expense, but don't be hesitant about. We want this to be a safe zone for every constituent, every visitor, every wife, every mother, child.
Yeah.
At any expense, they're not coming here and telling us what to do with our town illegally.
Yeah.
That fair?
Fair.
100%.
Yeah, that drives me nuts to come in. And, whatever Ryan needs, his staff needs, I think you have a green light to assist Ryan, whatever it takes.
Absolutely. So we got that area cleaned up,
Yeah.
the homeless camp that was removed, and so
And my brother had to leave, thank you.
but it's, we're hoping that it's not gonna be a recurring issue, but it's something that staff is being vigilant, watching and keeping up on.
Let's get June and July meeting dates on the calendar. Ruby, I guess you don't care.
What June they do? June they do. July you do, don't you? Florida?
July,
Go ahead,
yeah.
July.
Kevin, would you just put out an email to commissioners? And Commissioner-elect Beaker regarding July 11th.
Yeah.
And August, either 8th or 15th, and see what people's schedules look like. Obviously, the July one, we should all be
Yeah.
here. And it's 3 in August, so, but I think one meeting, do you think it's sufficient, like normal, Christie, one meeting each of those months?
It's fine.
Why don't you throw out email to commission and see, where people are at the next couple months.
And your last meeting is when?
20th.
Not that you're counting. I said that
Well,
real fast.
He is wearing shorts.
he wanted to sit here this morning. He was at his feet stand next to me like, are you ready, Hope?
Or you could come sit over here.
Rehearsal.
All right.
No flak jacket?
Anybody have a committee report? I don't think there were any.
I do not.
Well, I do, actually, I have one. We're going to be having an urban renewal meeting on Monday, where they're going to try and adopt a different resolution for what's gonna happen to the waterfront, and everyone should be very happy here, is that the proposed is actually going to include all of the taxable buildings of the waterfront, including lot 1 and lot 900. They shrunk it down, removed Nichols Basin, they removed the hook, they removed any lands that didn't have any buildings on it. That allowed them to receive the acreage that they needed in order to maximize the West Side District. And it allows us to keep the waterfront district with taxable income coming into it, into a kitty.
I like that, to be honest with you. That's a great
It's
alternative.
a huge win-win.
It really is, and they really consider it. Evidently, they must have considered us,
Yes.
because they didn't have to.
So I
Kudos to them.
I give kudos to Arthur Babbitts, because he was the one that thought of the idea, presented it, and basically said, this could be a win-win for the whole community, and it just gives us a placeholder for a couple of years. Granted, if we want to use the funds that are going to still roll into the kitty, we'll have to go through a major amendment. But I feel like if we propose something that is community driven and is gonna be good for everyone, I don't see there being any drawback of the community to support it. So it's just a fantastic placeholder. So I can send you all the packet for urban renewal, which is Monday, but yeah, I'm super happy. Mhm.
Let us know.
Oh, and I did also have a Visit Hood River meeting. And the only thing to report there is that hotels are a little bit stressed out because they're all down by about 25%.
Really? Oh, really?
Wow, that's surprising.
It seems busy.
Yeah, well, I called Wild Horse yesterday. Wow,
So, but lodging stays
huh,
are down from in the first quarter, down 25%. So that was an interesting thought, because I agree with you. It seems real busy
you try traveling, you gotta plan ahead,
here.
you really do. Huh.
Yeah.
Did they have any insight why?
I think that the thought is that people are just figuring out different modes of overnight stays. They're not investing in hotels, they're camping, or they're doing something else that's not in going into the transient lodging tax.
Did they mention if Meadows was also down? In that first quarter?
No, they didn't, that wasn't in the conversation.
So did they take into consideration B and Bs, also too?
Mhm.
Huh, that surprised me.
Yeah.
They didn't have any real clear idea why.
Inflation.
The people have been cooped up for 2 years.
I know,
All here.
that's why it was such a shock.
Yeah.
So. You know, I
Are
mean,
they going to a different location?
maybe, I don't know. But I know that what they were saying is that, you know, the new drive is not necessarily from the Portland market, it's from Seattle market. So we're getting people coming in from further again.
Legal counsel had an interesting, Celeste, Kristen, had an interesting point. She said, like in the 80s and 90s and early 2000, people came here to do physical water, mountain biking, hiking sports, and they left and dispersed in the city. And now they're coming here and doing the brew pubs and the wineries, and they're staying, and maybe they're not overnight and they're driving back to Portland
Mhm.
versus you're on the water all day, you're tired.
Yeah.
So maybe just a different clientele, people come to the area.
True,
That was your
could
observation.
be a
Very
point,
good.
yeah.
I'm gonna bill you for that. And like my rate.
So that's all I have to report.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, now we can close the public hearing on approved budget for the fiscal year 2023-2024. Move on to 2 action items. Number 1, Debbie.
Yes, so every year, pretty much, we come and give you we kind of clean up the financial statements and take a look at them and see, make sure that we're within our budget appropriations. And the only thing this year, all the other funds looked really, really good, but the bridge replacement fund, I think it was kind of just, I don't want to say a guess, but this was all new this year. And so just trying to decide how much of it was going to be capitalized, which goes into capital outlay, and how much of it was just going to be expense. That was kind of a guess. And so it looks like that there's going to be, I don't think it's going to be $1 million. I think it's going to be closer to about 800,000. That's not going to be able to be capitalized. And so just needs to be expensed. It's more planning, those kinds of things that, like NEPA is a really good example of something that's just taken longer than anybody thought it was going to take. And we can't really capitalize those costs. So it's just a simple transfer and doesn't really change anything. It just makes our legal appropriations correct.
All right. Any questions?
No, I'll move to approve the resolution number 2022-23-15, authorizing the budget transfer for the fiscal year 22-23 budget.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
I as well. Thank you, and second one.
Okay, so this is the budget for next year, and it's basically the approved budget that was approved by the budget committee. Which you may recall was the proposed budget, except we did reduce dues. And so we're going to go through and take a good look at dues and make sure, well, we'll take a good look at everything, but we'll make sure that we're really analyzing our expenditures this year. There are 2 adjustments that did come to light after the budget committee approved the budget. The first was to add the $150,000, which is just really a placeholder. for the camera system that would be needed in the software and whatever would all be needed in order to identify speeding truckers on the bridge and then to send out warnings for that. And then also there was something came up about the Halyard building, or some information came up about the Halyard building with the possibility of it needing some additional work over there. And so that was an estimate of $137,901. So the increases are totally allowable under Oregon budget law. There are limits on how much you can adjust the budget between the time it's approved by the budget committee and when you actually adopt it, but you're well within those limits. So we're recommending that the budget be adopted as presented tonight.
I think we should clarify on there that the improvements of the Halyard building are not tenant improvements, they are
Yeah,
in fact.
I went to my notes. and I
Building
didn't find anything
improvements.
discussing tenant improvement.
Yes, I should have called those building improvements. You are correct.
I used the wrong.
I'm going, what the heck are we?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Maybe I got a stack or something. I don't know.
Yes, I
What are we
should
doing
have
to
said
dimension?
building
Building
improvements.
improvement,
Sorry about that.
structural.
Well, maybe get ready to buy them.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll think.
Any other questions for Debbie on that one? If anybody would like to make a motion?
Resolved that the Board of Commissioners, Port of Hood River hereby adopt the budget of fiscal 23-24 total amount of 48,107,085, and hereby imposes the property taxes provided adopted the budget, the rate of 0.0332 per thousand assessed value on taxable property within the district.
Second.
In favor?
I
I as well. Thank you, thank you.
0 point.
Commissioner Strike, anything?
No, I just, yeah, things are going well. It's hot out, summertime's here. Yeah. Everything's good.
Right.
Everything's good.
Commissioner Chapman?
Nothing.
All right, nothing from me either.
I do, well, actually, I have one thing.
You
I
always
do
do
think
that.
we should make the Port of Hood River proposed budget resources graph a main image on our website that shows property taxes of $90,000. It's estimated as a 0% overall income for the Port of Hood River.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Lauren, because you have the
It's-
perception. that-
yeah,
It's very
Yeah,
enlightening
Yeah.
when people come and talk about how their property taxes are being spent. And when we say, well, if you look at our budget, it literally is at 0%.
it's a line item on your tax statement, but still you don't really put it in perspective. Good
Correct.
point, yeah.
So that's my only point.
And with that, we can recess regular session and enter into executive session under ORS 1926602E real property transactions and ORS 1926662H, conferring with legal counsel regarding litigation. If it's all right with both of you, I would like to invite Commissioner-elect Beaker to stick around.
Yep. Gotta rip off the Band-Aid sometime.
It's all right with you. You're gonna need to hear this anyway.
And just so you guys know, Noah Notaboom from Columbia Gorge News is here.
Hi, Noah.
As you know, journalists are allowed to attend.